Let's say something לכבוד שבועות. The story of Ruth, right? David HaMelech, Ruth. We'll take a small passage, a small insight. The story was the following. There was a man called Elimelech. He was one of the richest people in Israel at that time. At that time, right, he was one of the richest people. What happens was, there was a famine in Israel, Ra'av, Vayi Ra'av Ba'aretz. And you know what it is? He was the richest person, so every 5 minutes, somebody knocks on his door, tzedakah, tzedakah, tzedakah. One day he gets upset, and he tells his wife, listen, the whole day, tzedakah, tzedakah, come on, I cannot do this anymore. He gets out of Israel. He takes his wife, he takes his 2 children, Machlon v'Chilion, and they leave Israel. אז עכשיו איפה הוא הולך? He goes to שמה מואב. He goes to the other side of the Jordan. Right? הולך לצד המזרחי, to the east side of the Jordan. הולך, יושב שמה. What happens to him? גם שם, אבל שמה מה קורה? Because he's so important, who sticks to him? Kings, ministers. So his 2 children meet 2 girls. But unfortunately, there's no Jews there. So they marry 2 not Jewish girls, right? What happens? With time, he gets heart attack, he dies. His 2 sons die. So basically, his wife, Naomi, stays with 2 daughters-in-law, which are not Jewish, right? So she says she lost her husband, she lost her children, they lost all the money. So she says she has nothing what to lose anymore. She wants to go back to Israel. She wants to go back to Israel. So she goes back, and her 2 daughters-in-laws accompany her. So on the way, she's telling him, listen, I don't have any more boys to give you. Just go back to your homes. Ruth comes from Melech Moav. Her grandfather was Melech Moav, Eglon. Go back. You can marry a prince. You can marry such important. What are you coming with me? I have no one to give you. And Orpah also, go back. They tell her, no, we don't want to leave you alone. She insists. So Orpah says, you know what? You're right. You don't have, what are we going to do with you? Go to Israel. The Jewish boys, who's going to marry us? In Israel, no one is going to marry us. We're not Jewish. Right? So Orpah says, Vatishak lechamota. She kisses her. She cries with her. And she goes. Ruth davkaba. I'm not leaving you alone. I don't care what's going to happen. Whatever it takes. But listen, you're not Jewish. I'm going to convert. Tell me what I have to do. He says, Ba'asher talini alin. Listen. She tells her, you know, in our bedrooms there's mezuzah. I'll put a mezuzah, right? We have to go to the mikveh. I'll put the mikveh. We have to eat kosher. I eat kosher. ותראה אותה כי מתאמצת היא ללכת. She saw how much she's struggling with her, and she's holding to her. He says, okay, you come with me. She comes with her, right? And the whole story, I just want to make it short. The whole story is, at the end of the day, she marries Boaz. Now, she's a young girl. She's maybe 20, 30 years old, right? And Boaz is already 80-something years old, right? More than 80, כן. בוא נגיד כמה ככה, בוא נגיד, let's say. So, she, at the end of the story, she got married to him, right? No one wanted to marry her. No one wanted to marry her. כן, למה? She got married twice already. She was married to Machlon, and then Machlon dies. She married Kilion. Okay? So she lost already 2 husbands. So no one wanted to marry her. Boaz says, listen, it's a mitzvah. Yes, because Orpah was married to Kilion. How do you call her? The Ruth was married to Machlon. Now, when Kilion died, Machlon had to do Yibum. Right? So he had to marry, when Machlon died, Kilion had to marry her. So she got married to him, and then he also died. So both brothers died. They did Yibun. So now she came to Israel, and Boaz, she says, wow, next in line, hu achi karov mishpacha. He's the closest in family. So there was somebody closest, and in the book of Ruth, it is called Ploni Almoni. We don't mention his name. So Boaz told them, would you marry Ruth? You know, when you marry Ruth, the husband left a big field. He says, no, listen, she lost already 2 husbands. I'm scared for my children. I'm scared for myself. You do it if you want. So next in line was Boaz. Okay, it was Boaz. You know the story. There was a lady. She met somebody. So they talk and they liked each other. They went and they took a coffee. She told him, "Come to my house. We'll talk about it." He comes to our house. He opens the door, and he see next to the door there was a hanger, and there was two hats hanging on the door, on the hangers over there. He told her, "What's those two hats? Man, it's man hats." He says, "Yes, this is the first husband I lost, and this is the second husband." Smawasa, what did he do? He had the hat. No, he had the hat. He took off his hat. He put it. Says, "This is a souvenir for you. I don't. You're not for me." Had lamut. He didn't want to die. But Boaz wanted to do the mitzvah. He got married to her and he died the next morning. Wow. Next morning he died. But the next was she became pregnant the same night she became pregnant. Right? She became pregnant, and this how came the dynasty. Ishai, Boaz, Ishai, and David. Okay? The interesting part is that Arpa, she got married, right? Who did she have as a child? Goliat. Yeah. Ruth got married to Boaz. Who was her grandchild? David. Those two, they're cousins. Goliat and David are cousins because their grandmother is sisters. Right? They're cousins. What happened in the end? Goliat. Why? Because when you do something Lishem Shamayim, Ruth Astar Lishem Shamayim, like Boaz tells her, I heard so many good things about you. You stuck with your mother-in-law, you took care of your mother-in-law, you didn't care, you came to convert and everything. David. Orpah, that in the beginning says, yeah, I like you and everything, but then she made personal interest. She went. She had Goliat. The two cousins meet one day, and David is going to kill Goliat. Why? Because Goliat wanted to do harm to the Jewish people. Your grandmother was married to a Jew, right? Your great-grandfather, your grandfather was a Jew. But still Azik, so who's going to take revenge? Your cousin, which is David. So this is the story of Ruth, Orpah, David, and Goliath. This is the whole story. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.